Hello, poker people. Welcome back. Welcome back to another Twitch stream today. Looking forward to it. Getting warmed up. Warm up the joints. Warm up the muscles. Shake out the stiff neck. All that kind of stuff. Warmed up. Warm up the joints. Mute that. Alrighty. So right now we are doing day 3 of 66 days in a row of hand reading practice, and today we're looking at both ranges, which means I'm basically narrowing my range and my opponent's range. So there are a few different tools you need when hand reading. First is Flopzilla, and because we are looking at my range and my opponent's range, we need window number 2 right here. And of course, when you so you need 2 windows so that you can range them both right here. You need this free software called Hold EQ. How do I place it on the table so I don't lose it? Right about there. Okay, cool. So you need this free software called Hold EQ, and it just comes automatically with Poker Tracker. I'm sorry, with Flopzilla. And what it does is it allows you to use multiple windows. You can look at 10 different opponents at one time with 10 different ranges if you'd like. So the first thing you do is you want to tie this window into this one. So you just hover over it. You're going to connect. There we go. Aces and kings. Let's change the range. Queens and jacks. Aces through jacks. Good, good, good. Now we want to tie it into this window. Let's say this window, 5, 6s, and 7s. There we go. 5 through 7. So now our 2 windows are tied to Hold EQ here. And of course, we're going to end up just, we'll keep that range there for now. It doesn't really matter. But you can see how it works. When you hit calculate, bam, the aces full of jack, or aces through jacks has 81% preflop equity versus the 7s through 5s right there. So that's the first piece of software you need. Second one, of course, is Poker Tracker 4, our favorite. So we're looking at different hands, carbon hands, or the merge network hands that went to showdown right here. And let's see, yesterday we did this hand with pocket 10s. Let's see if it pops up. It does right there. So let's do this ace 10 because the preflop action is raise, bet, and then bet, raise on the turn. Pretty interesting. Get some good action. Be able to narrow my range and my opponent's range based on the board and, and the actions that we take. So this will be the hand that we do. And now, let's see. Just drop that. Got the hand up. The final thing that we need is, and I use this for every single hand reading practice, this is Split Suit's hand reading template right here. And let me just push up the, you can get the hand reading templates by going to splitsuit.com/templates. It's right there on the screen. It's a donation page, so you can pay what you want. I paid $10 for it, but you can see how it works. And I'll just demonstrate. I won't explain the whole thing. So let's get started. The top range right here is going to be my range. Down here will be the opponent's range. So of course we know that I have ace 10, but we want to look at my range as a whole based on my preflop and then my actions through the streets. Oh, wait a second. 878 97274. Don't recall the date. Should have looked. 7/15. Oh, it's just a couple days ago. Or no, a month ago. 2 months ago. Wait, we're in September already. Hard to... 7/15. All right. So on the button with ace 10 suited, open pot. And SB calls, who is a 43-0 player. Wow, super loose passive. This is great. SB calls. Super loose passive at 43-0 over 55 hands. That's great. Flop comes down, whatever it does, and we'll do the turn, river, and then some notes here. Cool. Okay. So we've got the ace 10 suited of hearts. We can see that he folds to steals only 44% of the time. It's only 4 out of 9, but it's really not often at all. This guy is calling with a super wide range. We probably want to keep aces and kings and maybe even queens out of his range because he might 3-bet with those. It's only been 55 hands, so we'll take the best hands out of the range right there. So first off, for our opening range in the on the button here, Let me take a look at the opponents I'm stealing from. This guy doesn't fold that often. He doesn't fold that often at all. But I do have position on them. Big Adam 3-bets 9% of the time, and from the big blind he 3-bets 9%. So I can expect a re-raise from him, a 3-bet from him quite often. So that's going to constrict my opening range just a little bit. I won't be opening with the weakest hands. So remember, my range is the top window, the bottom one's down here. So we'll say I'm opening 20%. Let's go with every suited ace. Let's go down as far as 9-7. Let's kick it up to 7-6 suited. King 9 would be in my raising range, my open raising range, not King 8. Not when I can expect so many 3-bets, you know. And I would probably just stick with this. I would open off 10-9 offsuit to keep that in. Actually, I could come to think of it, I do like having a little bit more suited connectors in my range. So I'm going to say that this is my pre-flop range, 322, 24.3. All right, their pre-flop range now. So we raise pre-flop. He has one player to contend with, but he just doesn't like to fold. So he's going to have a pretty wide calling. Whoops. Going to have a pretty wide calling range right here. So a call 2-bet range of, I mean, we really could go this wide. Maybe not. Well, actually, we can go this wide. Let's put those in his calling range. Let's put these in his calling. Queens are better. Ace, queen suited. I mean, he's so loose passive so far. Hasn't raised a single pot. Let's just put him on a super nitty 3-betting range right here. So we've got him at 56%. Let's actually do this. He's so loose passive. He's calling every suited hand. Let's say he's not going this low. Let's give him a little bit of, say he can control himself just a little bit. 55%. It's pretty darn wide. I think if a guy like this looks down at 9-7, he could be calling that. 6-5 could be calling. Let's stick with this right here. Yeah, let's go with this range. So 752 combos. Control Alt T. 752, 56.7. It's a lot of freaking combos on the guy's range, that's for sure. All right, so pre-flop, before we open up or take a look at hold EQ, what do we want to... A big part of hand rating practice is kind of understanding ranges, of course, but then you also want to think about the equities of range versus range. You could see that he has a super wide range. He's only missing, what is it, only 5 of the best hands that we do have in our range. I think at this point, when we compare these two ranges, we're looking at roughly a 60% equity at this time. 58%. Okay, 58% equity isn't... It's pretty darn good. It's not as good as it could be, but I bet if we removed... Not that we would, but if we remove those kinds of hands... copy that so I could put it back in. I bet our equity would be like 62%. Oh, just a little bit higher, 60%, which is still better. Yep. But let's put this equity back in... Bam, hands return right there. Good. So we've got 58% equity at this point. Great. So the holy Stromboli. Oh my God. Can we, what? Is it possible to flop a better flop than that? Is that even something? Holy cow. King and a queen of hearts. That's amazing. And then the jack of diamonds. Oh my gosh, dude. We have like, wow, that's crazy. I mean, we have the, it's just an amazing with the ace 10 right there. So just looking at the ranges, our range has, oh, there's the equity right there. 63% equity versus his range on this flop. It's a great flop for us. Of course, we have every Broadway. We also have those nutted Broadways, or not nutted Broadways, the ace king and the pocket kings and queens where he doesn't have those in his range. So we totally nailed this flop. We have 63% our equity versus his. Our hand itself, though, holy cow, flopping the nut flush or the straight flush draw as well as flopping a straight. We just killed it right here, and he's the perfect player. We're in position versus a loose passive player on a flop that hits his range really darn well. Let's take a look at his range. His range is right here. If we just look at... Yeah, let's just look at open-ended straight draw better, all these combo draws. He hit this 46% of the time, which is lovely. That means 46% of the time we should be getting paid off at least a little bit with some value bets here. He's obviously folding, you know, maybe not ace highs, but all of his weak pairs, middle pairs are probably folding on such an ugly board unless he has a middle pair plus a draw. And we can actually, because he's so passive, we can say he has that as well. That is great. So we are getting value in this hand. He checks to us. We bet a buck, standard, just trying to get value out of the guy. This could be viewed as a bluff or as a value bet from him. If he hit any part of this, he is continuing for sure. And he didn't raise. So let's look at our range first. What is betting on this board? Obviously, we already have the straight, so we know that we're betting that. He's so loose passive. I'm betting any hand right here just to start to build a pot to get value out of the guy. So set, straights, two pair, over pair, top pair. Now, this is an ugly board. What are the middle pairs? All the various queens. Well, all those queens have their pair plus a gutter. Yeah, so let's put all those in. We're definitely betting that. We have position against loose passive fish. He could be calling with a bottom pair, jack kind of hands here too. Quite possibly. Weak pairs, probably not betting all of those. We're going to bet some of the draws, so we'll keep those in a little bit. Ace highs new. Well, yes, actually, we would be betting ace highs in this instance because it has a gut shot plus the fact that I raised pre-flop, just I might be able to steal it right now with at least just a 4 big blind bet. So I'm going to put those in my range. Those gut shots there, well, all those aces, the king 9, the jack 9, all the different 9s, those are kind of ugly gut shots. Let's not put all of them in the range. Jack 9 has a pair plus a gutter. And then the king 9 has a pair plus a gutter. Everything else, yeah, good. So we'll put the gut shots in, but we'll kind of minimize it just a little bit here. And then all those combo draws, great. So if we look at it right now, we took our range from, what was it? We could look here, I don't even remember, 300 and something, 322 combos down to 198. Pretty good change right there. So 75%. Oh, I'll enter that stuff in a sec. 75% of the previous range and 198 combos. Now you could see, yes, our bet on this flop did limit our range a little bit because I'm not bluffing and just c-betting 100% of the time. I'm c-betting right now from what we did. We ranged it down. I'm c-betting 75% of the time, which is great. That's a really good percentage right there. It is exploitable by somebody that wants to check raise a lot or check call, then donk lead, or check call, then check raise the turn kind of thing. But I think that's really good. Oh, the flop came down here. King of hearts, queen of hearts, and jack of diamonds. Your range is equity. I think it was 60 on that flop. It was 64 and then 36. 64 or 63, one of the two. Close enough, though. So now, what are they check calling on this range? He wouldn't necessarily be afraid of a flush draw, so he could check call with a straight to string us along on one street, and then maybe check raise the turn when we double barrel. It's possible. Sets, he's so passive. I think just about anything other than like a nut hand might be the only thing he would raise here. Everything else, weak pairs, various 10s right here. We'll include some gut shots, so let's take those out. Ace highs. They all have a gut shot. He's loose passive. Let's say he's calling with all of his ace highs in this instance. Flush draws, open-enders, gut shots. Those are all calling at least one street because he's such a loose passive player. Well, let's not say those are calling just because they're 2-card backdoors. Yep. So he's actually calling 75% of the time. So this is great. We're keeping a huge part of his drawing range in with this small 4 big blind bet. 496 combos, 75%. So we can see his range is just still mega wide. Control-Alt-T to just pop up the range real quick. If you don't want to hit Control-Alt-T, just hit this range button too, and then Control-C to copy it. Yeah, so great, 75% right there. What was our percentage? 76% of our 75% of our previous range. Yeah. So we both only lost 25% of our ranges. Great. So with these ranges, he has plenty of draws in his range, which against our range, we have plenty of draws too. 65% equity at this time, which is still pretty darn good. So the turn card comes. A deuce of spades. Oh, that doesn't change anything. But now there's only one card remaining in the deck. So the two of spades. My guess is on a two of spades turn, our equity is going to go from 64 up to 69%. Two of spades, 69% equity. 67.5. 67, so his is 33%. Lovely. So let's see what happens here. He's probably checking just about 100% of his range, unless he flopped a straight for himself and now he doesn't want us to check behind and he doesn't want to lose value. But he checks, which is almost 100% of his range. 375. So because that board, wow, look at that bet. So I am going for max value here. I'm putting this guy on the kind of hand that can just call and give me maximum value. I love it. I love it right here. I love that size bet because that flop, if we just take a look at the flop, okay, King, Jack, Queen, he decided to call. And he has so many broadways. He's got two pairs in his range. He's got top pairs. He's got second and third pairs. He's got flush draws. He's got straight draws. He's got gut shots, got everything. I'm going for max value. I freaking love it. And then he raises, which, you know, we've got the nut flush draw. The only thing we're scared of, scared's not even the right word. The only thing that we're kind of concerned with is that he could be betting on a set. He could be raising his set right here, trying to charge us for our own flush draw or straight draw kind of a thing, and he could catch on the river. That's the only thing we're scared of at this point, you know. But we decided to bet. So if we look at it from his perspective, what are we betting here? That's the first thing we want to narrow. We are betting when he checks to us on the deuce of spades turn. We're betting our straights, we're betting our sets, we're betting our two pairs, betting the overpair, which is just the aces, yeah. Betting our top pairs. We could actually pot control with the overpair, but we've got the overpair plus a gut shot draw with, or a one outer. I mean, a four outer. I guess you can call it, wanting a 10. We would probably still be betting that overpair right there. Top pair, and they're all kind of draws or top pair. Yeah, top pair plus a draw. We'd be betting them. Middle pairs. I think I would bet again. We've still got the open ender. The queen 10, ace queen still has a gut shot. Yeah. Betting the mid pair. Weak pairs. I think I'm pot controlling with all of these weak pairs. Ace high, pot controlling, checking behind kind of a thing. Gut shots. Well, some of them are top pairs, so yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, so this is what we are. Yeah, I think this is effectively what we are c-betting or double barreling right now, which is 82% of our prior range. 82% and 161 combos. Now their turn range. So on the turn right now, yeah, that's right. This is his range. So he decided to check and then raise big. Was it an all-in or just close to all-in? It says 775 behind? Oh, so that's exactly 4x, right? 15. Okay, exactly 4 times. So he's raising for value. He's not bluffing. He's a super loose passive guy. He is doing this for value at this time. He's doing it with his straights, his sets. Two pair, probably to scare us off of a flush draw or like a pair plus a gutter, pair plus a draw, I would say. Over pairs are not raising. Top pairs are not raising like that. Flush draws, open enders are not raising like that. We are going to constrict his range big time for going from so loose passive to aggressive on the turn. He could have turned like a set of deuces right here and just stayed in beyond the flop. I've already removed the deuces from his range, but it's possible he did. So let's say right here, wow, crazy. We took him down to 14% of his flop range, which is hardly anything, which is just value hands. That's all he's doing. Or trying to scare us off of a draw with a two pair. That's how he would look at it. Scare us off of the draw. So let's say 14%, 67 hands. All right. Now my guess, I hope I just reshove. Good, I do. And of course he calls right there. It makes sense. I'm not going to enter in my turn range. This is my pot-sized bet turn, pot-sized double barrel turn range, not the 3-bet reshove range. Just to clarify it for when I go back over this sometime in the future. Oh, LT Maximus, hey, thanks for watching, buddy. So, villain thinks that a hero has top pair or 2 pairs, but from passive re-raise it means sets or straights. Agreed. So, so as it stands right now, with the flop, with the turn action of mine and the turn check raise of the villain Trinity, 21-24, and we have these ranges set right here. Yeah. So when we just look at range versus range, not knowing that I have ace 10 suited, just looking at range versus range, our range actually has 32% equity. So that means we're only going to win 32% of the time. So you can kind of think of it as we're folding roughly 70% of the time. So his bet, while it might look bad, it might look like a bluff gone wrong or something, because he doesn't know we have the nuts with a redraw to a better nut hand. When it looks at range versus range, his range is killing our range right now. We just happen to be at the top of our range for making this call. So let's see what he ends up having. See if we have it. And then we river the nut flush, so we get it for sure. 9-10. Oh, he flopped a straight. 9-10 offsuit. And looking at his range, 9-10 offsuit is in it. Great. So we successfully ranged him. We took him down from, based on the actions, from 750 hands pre-flop to 67 hands. So we've removed over 90% of his range by the turn right here. So this was definitely a successful hand reading, and it's pretty interesting seeing our play right here. We did keep our range pretty darn wide from pre-flop to the flop to the turn, because a lot of our range, because that turn because that board hit us so well, we have a wide range when we're pot size betting right there on the turn. So I really like my plays, and I got max value out of the guy. He flopped that under straight to my straight. I'm sure he was stoked as soon as he saw that, and he probably shoved. He didn't think we had a higher straight. He probably put us on, just like you said, LTU Maximus, top pair or 2 pair hand, or even a set that he just wanted to charge us max value to draw out on the river. So he thought he was going for value. He wasn't bluffing right there. That was a value bet on his part. But ended up having better on that board. I love that hand. That was a really good hand. So everybody, thank you very much for watching. Well, before I conclude it like that, so this is one of the reasons why you do hand reading for not only your range and the villain's range, but also comparing range versus range, because as you're doing it, you're kind of learning and seeing how equities change based on how ranges change and the different boards at the time. So this kind of work, and then constantly asking yourself, what is our equity on this flop? What is our equity with our range versus his range on this turn? If you just keep asking those kinds of questions, and before you actually take a look at this or take a look down here, if you kind of think to yourself, what equity do I have in this spot right now? And just make a guess, 63%, 45%, and then check. Just the more kind of practice you do, that kind of work will just ingrain its way into your noggin, and hopefully it'll translate to better decisions on the felt, because you're analyzing situations just a bit better while you're playing in the middle of them. Oh, LTU Maximus, thanks for that question. On the page right there, at the top of the page, you can see the videos clip. It has videos and then the number 3, because I have 3 prior videos in this. You'll see videos 1 and 2 there. I'm also going to start putting these on later today. I'm going to start putting them on my YouTube channel, so you can find them there as well. LTU Maximus, thank you very much for that question. And alrighty, just a quick video. Day 3, day 4 tomorrow. We are going to do a hand reading practice with the villain's range once again. Alrighty, y'all. Take care and enjoy the rest of your Sunday.